You look fabulous. What is up, everybody? Gary and Auburn here, GBL Iguanas. So today, kind of like our last video, we talked all about red-tailed boas. Today we are talking all about...
Oh, pythons.
Yeah, we are talking all about ball pythons. They are easily one of, if not the most popular pet snake in the country, especially as a beginner snake.
You don't know how to snake.
He doesn't know how to snake, and we'll get into all that. But yeah, ball pythons they're great snakes. Walter here is a male albino pied. He looks like he may be getting ready to shed, even though he shed not that long ago and has only had one meal since. But he's normally like a pretty bold yellow here. So Walter Valentine was her Valentine's Day present from 2021. I'll go ahead and pop that video right now.
I'm scared. No!
It's Sebastian. He's a boy.
Oh my god! Hi! You're so pretty! Oh, hi. I knew it. You're so pretty.
Good.
Oh my goodness, hi. He says hi.
So yeah, so he was her Valentine's Day present, where he was only about 6 months older. So you saw how tiny he was in that video, and now you see, he's probably a year and a half, maybe a little bit older. He's a thick boy.
He is a thick boy.
So ball pythons, the reason why they are such great, either beginner snakes, and just such a popular snake regardless, is one, their size. They don't get very large. I mean, he'll probably get a little bit bigger than this, but male ball pythons typically are maybe 3 to maybe 4 foot is your average. The girls can get typically 4 to 5 foot. There's always exceptions to the rule, of course, but they stay a very manageable size. So even for a child, someone who's still learning snakes, whatever, it's something that you can hold them in one hand, one arm, even as a full-grown adult. She was terrified of snakes when I met her, and ball pythons are what actually allowed her to start to overcome that fear. The very first snake she ever held was a baby pied ball python. So their size is really great. They don't get very large. Their temperament, as you can see, they're just like a potato snake. They just like his mother, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying.
Sorry, Mom.
Shush.
Son of the year.
They're pretty much potato snakes. I mean, they'll just sit there and chill there with you. Of course, again, always exceptions. Every now and again, you might come across one that is a lot more active. And temperament-wise, sometimes you'll come across one that's kind of a little bit of a bunghole. It's very rare, and even the ones that might have a little bit of an attitude, it's actually pretty easy to work with them to get them to calm back down. So good size, really good temperament. Don't need large cages. Typically something like a 3-foot cage, like a 40-gallon breeder, or the PVC cages that I'll show. That's for an adult male, that's perfect. For a bigger adult female, you'd want a 4-foot cage. Not big cage. They don't have high humidity requirements. They typically, right around 50% humidity. And then when they're going into shed, I'll mist the cage down and bump that up a little bit, but it's not crazy humidity that you have to worry about. Like a rainbow boa or something where you need 90%. Nothing crazy, so super easy. They like their, the standard heat that most snakes like, but again, we'll get into all of their care stuff. So they're just all in all great, really great pet snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Now the con, another pro I missed. They come in all sorts of varieties. When I say varieties, there's all these different genes now that have been worked into ball pythons. So of course you have albino, you have pied, you have Mojave, you have lesser, you have the blue-eyed leucistic, you got clown. Yeah, the clowns do make some really cool stuff. There's like gravel, there's pinstripe, there's there's banana, pastel, super pastel. There's literally just hundreds of different genes out there and combinations. So no two ball pythons look the same, which is really, really cool. And you care for all of them the exact same. It's just a different paint job. So it's really, really sweet. And their pricing, a normal ball python you can get for, like $100, but then of course all the crazy genes you can get up to $40,000.
This one was like what, 6?
He was 800.
Oh, just kidding.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a little high. Just did it because we got him from someone at the time who was a friend of ours, so I wanted to support them. Realistically, like an albino pied like this, he's probably $600 to $700, somewhere in that range. But now the biggest con with ball pythons that you're gonna see everywhere and hear a lot about is their eating. They are notorious for being finicky, picky eaters, not wanting to eat. And that can be true, but a lot of the times if you have a ball python or a snake in general that's not eating well, that is a bright sun. It is typically something to do with their habitat. Again, we'll get into that here in a moment once we start getting through all the care. Care for ball pythons it's incredibly easy. I mean, it's really anybody at any reptile experience level can care for one properly. When you go to the pet store, you buy from a breeder at a reptile show, whatever, you get your first one, you're probably going to be able to keep them in a smaller cage, maybe like a 20-gallon long or something like that. You don't want to put them into something too big at first, because that can stress them out, especially if they don't feel secure in it. Ball pythons are one of the very, very, very few, if not only, snakes that, you could do in like a rack system or a tub system, and that might actually do pretty well for them. From where they're from in Africa, in nature, typically what they do, they are a shy snake. They kind of find rock crevices. They just bury themselves in there. They hide, they wait for food, snap, grab, and they go back to hiding. So like a dark tub system, it can work. That being said, you give them a really nice naturalistic cage and they are going to use every inch of it. He uses every single inch of his cage here. Just make sure that you want decoration. So you bring that little baby cute little ball python home, you're going to put him in a 20-gallon tank or PVC cage, whatever you do. So a couple things that you're going to want to do. Basking spot, which that's going to be the same their entire life. Again, so you'll see online, 92, 93, 94 degrees. All of our snakes here that require heat, we have on the radiant heat panels, we set the thermostat to 91 degrees. Of course, different surface temperatures will still get hotter than that, but it's going to keep the air on their basking spot at about that 91 degrees. If you have an under tank heater, that works really, really well too. Just make sure you plug it into a thermostat and you just monitor that temperature. You don't want to, put that on the bottom of the cage is where you're going to want it. A little bit of dirt on top, and then they'll have their nice hot spot. So you want to keep them in the low 90s basking spot, humidity, 50 to 60%, nothing crazy. What, in my opinion, the two most important things you want to do for a successful ball python is, number one, the most important is their hide box. Like I said, they like feeling super tight and super secure. So you don't want to go and just give them this giant log hide that when they go into it, they're this tiny little snake in there. They actually think of like a claustrophobic's worst nightmare. That is the type of hide you want for a ball python. Really, most snakes actually. They like when they go into their hide, when they coil up, they want all sides of that hide to be touching them. When they do that, that makes them feel a lot more secure. So if you have the right temperatures and the right setup, and you have a couple nice hides, a lot of decor, like little logs, fake plants, stuff like that, so they feel super, super secure, odds are your snake is going to eat perfectly. And again, that's what the biggest issue is with these guys you hear, is they're not good eaters. Walter here, from the very first week that we've had him, he has been eating frozen thawed for us pretty much every single week. Now that he's been getting a little bit older, and then with breeding season and all that, he's gone off food for a few weeks before, but nothing that's out of the ordinary. He actually just ate a few days ago, and he does absolutely great. If you take care of everything and you keep them set up properly, and they're happy and they're healthy and they're secure, they are going to eat pretty much every single time. So you're going to want to give them that nice cage. Again, use common sense when you're looking at the size of the snake with the cage. When they start looking like they're a little bit too big for that cage, upgrade them. I'm perfectly fine with going from their juvenile baby cage right to their adult cage. I'm not a fan of doing 3 or 4 different cages for their lifespan. That's just overkill. So when they get a little bit bigger, you move them up into their bigger cage. Said for a male, you can go with like a 3-foot PVC cage, or the Zilla or Exoterra, the open front cages. That typically will work okay. Bigger, still better for an adult. So I mean, I wouldn't put any of these in like an 8-foot cage, but if you can do it, a 4-foot by 2-foot cage is like absolutely perfect, whether it is male or female. Just like so we've got the 3-foot for him now. So, and even at that stage, again, humidity is the same, 50 to 60%. Temperatures, you want that basking spot in the low 90s. Ambient air temperature, high 70s, low 80s. Let them thermoregulate. Make sure they've got a water dish big enough that they can soak in it if they so choose. Substrate wise, I'd recommend some kind of a dirt mixture. Some folks you'll see put them on aspen, and to me, that's not a ball python's substrate. Before I've kept them on Eco Earth, and they've done very, very well. But now, buddy, on that bioactive mix that we made from a few videos back, which is just cypress mulch, soil, sand, all that kind of stuff. Check out that video. Really good way to make a bioactive substrate. But some kind of a dirt mixture will be best, so that way it holds their humidity really well. And yeah, their setups are super, super easy. As you can see on ours, we have a nice branch in there he can climb over and under. You don't want anything too terribly high up, because they will actually climb, but they are kind of clumsy. So if you have something and you've got them high up off the ground, they could potentially hurt themselves. But yeah, just make sure you've got that nice big water dish for them, all sorts of stuff for them to sniff, go over, go under. Places where they can hide on the hot side and the cool side, so they can be secure wherever they are in the cage, and they're gonna do just great. So feeding, that is, like I talked about, the biggest thing with ball pythons is getting them to eat consistently. So as a baby, just like pretty much every other snake, just once a week. Super, super easy here. Our feeding day are Tuesday nights, and that's just what we do. Of course, we'll adjust the schedule based on the animal itself, how they're looking. Are they kind of like actively out and about, looking like they're hungry, looking like they're hunting?
9 times out of 10, yes.
Yeah, so pretty much all of our snakes, they'll just eat. Like freaking Bernie the Berman there, that fool a few weeks ago. So he ate his frozen pig. Then what did he eat after that? Then there was a quail that Kevin didn't eat. So same night, he ate a big frozen pig. He ate a full-grown quail. I think that was the next day.
Yes,
yeah, so
Simon
then,
didn't eat.
well, Simon didn't eat his second rat,
Gotcha.
I think. So yeah, so then the following morning, we had a leftover medium rat that either him or Simon didn't eat. So then he ate that. Then we had, with the baby chicks, unfortunately, we had 2 of them had passed, different days. But he had a passed away baby chick. And then a few days later, there was I think a small rat at the next feeding that didn't get eaten. Then he ate that. That fool was just always hungry. But ball pythons, be a little bit more careful with that, because they will get chunky. You got to be careful, because they're so round, so it can be very easy to overfeed them and make them chubby. You can see with him, he's got his muscle definition, and he's a good, nice, big, healthy boy.
He's such a derp.
Yeah, he's a ball python. They've got like one brain cell, just like his mother. But yeah, so feed an appropriate size meal once a week. Feed bigger than what their neck is. You want to go for the thickest part of their body, so which is pretty much right here, dead center. I mean, he's pretty much that big around. So he normally eats medium frozen rats, and that's for him. That's the perfect size. So ideally, you want to feed him one appropriate size meal. The sooner you can get them onto rats, the better, just because rats are, size-wise, a frozen rat pup and a frozen adult mouse, they're the same size, but that rat pup is a lot heavier. It's got a lot more meat to it. So get them onto rats as soon as you can. And again, that's with all snakes. That's what we suggest doing. Varied diets are good as well. You want to vary up and not just feed rats if they will take others. But ball pythons, so when we first got him, even though he would eat every week, he would only eat white rats. If it was like a brown rat, a multicolored rat,
Have like a dark spot on its forehead.
yeah, he would go all up to it, like he was hungry, like he was sniffing all over it and all that. Just would not touch it. You put a white rat in front of them, and it's like instant. So thankfully, where we order our rats from, we get from a Big Cheese Rodent Factory. Not sponsored or anything by them, just who we've always used. Their pricing has always been really, really good, and their quality has always been good. Thankfully, all of their feeder rats are white, so it made it pretty easy. So yeah, as the python grows, once a week is where you're going to be at for at least the first year to two, most likely. Again, unless they start getting a little bit obese. And then so he's slowed himself down, thankfully. So where he's just eating now every, I'd say probably about every 2 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks, he's going to eat. And just feed them the appropriate size when they look like they're ready for it. And that's a really easy way to avoid overfeeding them. Just keep them nice, happy, healthy. So that pretty much sums up taking care of ball pythons. Of course, as always, any questions that you have that maybe we didn't answer, drop it in the comments below. We've actually just been we gave him a minute to go and explore here in the tortoise pen. There's no tortoise or animals in here right now. Just let him kind of slither through the grass a little bit. But as always, thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about some pretty cool snakes here.
I did.
Live thumbnail. I gotta wait. Hold on, I gotta get his face in it and your face. Here we go. Just like a model, aren't I so lucky? Yeah, so thank y'all for watching. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do. I try to post at least 2 or 3 videos a week. I like to think we're pretty entertaining and informative. So please like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on. Let us know if you have a ball python. Let us know what genes you got. What are their names? Love to hear from y'all. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at GBL Iguanas. Go on to gbleguanas.com. Get yourself a pretty sweet shirt here. We're still running our 10% off the entire store. Promo code Diego10, DIEGO10.
For those of you who can't spell.
Like her.
Hey.
Or so if you have those who are readingly, letterly challenged and you get letters mixed up, gotta always spell it. And then hopefully here in the next few weeks, I'm going to try and get some more designs as well. But we'll see y'all next time.